Good morning, my beautiful friends. Hope you all are doing fantabulous today, this morning. It is currently almost 11 a.m. And I'm just waiting on my mom and stuff so that we could go places and do stuff. Taking stuff to Goodwill is one thing. We're going to do it in two different batches. We're going to do the one from today, and then we're going to do it again tomorrow, probably, because we have more stuff that we're going to take tomorrow. But we're doing that. As always, I have my walking stick, I have my backpack, I've got my coffee right here, and I just wanted to try this white chocolate mocha. White chocolate mocha. It's actually pretty good. And obviously, because we're drinking coffee, we also have our tumbler of water. Because I like to always have water on me. Even if I'm drinking coffee, I always like to have water. So, we are doing that. Oh, I made a quick change to the stuff in my bag a little bit. So you guys know that I had a lot of keychains on there, right? I took some of those like keychains off of here. So I had a bunch of like animals and stuff. I've only kept this one. I've moved this one over to this pocket instead and stuff. So I have kind of cleaned it off a little bit so it's doesn't have as many, because I don't want my bag that cluttered of stuff. And I could always exchange keychains out as I want and feel like it. So I decided to just get something that was a little less chaotic in terms of keychain use. But yeah, we are currently waiting on Mom to get here so that I can go have a good girls' day out with her. And then I think we're going to drop stuff off at Goodwill. We're going to eat some food. I don't know which order. My mom may want to go get food first and then drop stuff off at Goodwill. Excuse me, guys. But we're going to do that. And then I don't know what else we're going to get up to today, but we will figure it out. Hubby has officially started his first day of the new semester. So he's at work right now. I got to talk with him briefly for a little bit before he went to lunch, before he goes to lunch. So I'm very happy about that. And yeah, but one of the big things, and something that I actually wanted to talk more about with you guys, and stuff, was the whole idea of these changes and that I'm making. Change in mindset, because there has been a lot that has happened. I have done a lot of like internal work and stuff, and I've realized a lot about my past, my traumas, how they've affected me, how it's affected my inner voice, inner monologues, the things I tell myself. And I realized that part of it is you have to, in a sense, you have to change your inner dialogue if you want for things to change. A lot of my issues that I struggle with, because due to mental health reasons, is the inner monologue, is the fact that I spent a very, very long time in my life being told that I wasn't good enough, being told that my worth was defined by X, Y, and Z, for example, like financial stuff, or it was defined by how much, whether I had a partner or not, or it was defined by this, that, and the other. And I found out that that's not necessarily all true. It is not all about that stuff. As much as I don't like that aspect of things, that is the reality. It is not all about, it's not all about what you present to yourself, but it's what you present externally. It's what you tell yourself internally, because externally I can present with a big smile, I can present with a lot of confidence, but if internally the monologue is constantly you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, or this person's better than me. Like, for example, your spouse, for example. If you always tell yourself, well, my spouse is better than me because they earn more than me, or if my best friend is better than me because they do this, or this person's better than me because X, Y, and Z, then you're not really going to continue you're not really going to heal very much. because a lot of the healing comes from within. It comes from how you deal with things internally. So you have to change the inner monologue and the inner script in order to be able to change your mindset, change your mental health, change all of that. And that is one of my goals, is to change that inner monologue. Stop seeing myself as worthy because of the things that I have been told, and instead understand that no matter what, I have worth. I have worth just for being here. I have worth because of how I treat people. I have worth because of my values that I have. I have worth because I support people through the hard times. I have worth because I'm a trustworthy friend, because I'm a patient person, because I'm all of these things. I have worth because of my values and my morals and the way I treat people, more so than my worth is not defined by how much money I have or what status I have or any of that. My worth is very much defined by how I act and interact with other people and how I interact with the world I live in. And that's something that I have had a really hard time trying to figure out, is like what part of my inner voice is real versus what part of my inner voice is that inner critic and that inner, that traumatized part of me that like still held on to all of those things. So that is something that I've been actively working more on, trying to be better about. And let's be honest, it's been hard. It's been really, really hard. It's been hard to kind of sit there and say, my inner voice has been my worst enemy, because in all honesty, it has been. Your inner voice and your inner monologues are the biggest thing that holds you back from doing the things you want to do. Because if you start with the attitude of, I can't, I'm not able to, I can't, this is too hard, this is this, then you're more likely to set yourself up for not doing what you achieved out to do. If I start my morning, regardless of how I'm feeling, if I start my morning out with, oh, today's going to be an awful day, I'm already kind of putting that out there. I've already established in my head the idea of how today's going to go. If I have an argument with my husband, for example, or with my mom, or with a friend, or with anybody, and I tell myself, well, the whole day's ruined. That is a perception and a mindset, which means that I am going to end up actually feeling like the whole day is ruined. Which oftentimes isn't the case. The whole day may not be ruined. It may just be that we had a rough moment. We may have had a good day overall, but that in that good day, we had a rough moment. That does not mean that it's considered a failure, does not mean it's considered a bad thing. It's just, we have gone through things. And because of that reason, it's about how you talk to yourself every single day, every single moment of every single day. If you're constantly talking to yourself negatively, then the perception that you're going to have of yourself is going to be very, very negative. If you're constantly telling yourself, well, I'm unable to do this, that, and the other, then you're going to constantly not be able to do those things. And let me emphasize that there is a difference there between I can't do this because I know my limits versus I can't do this because I'm insecure and I'm afraid of failure. Because we all have limitations. We all have our limitations. We all have things that maybe we are not able to do. Like, for example, I have vision problems, right? I don't have 20/20 vision. Expecting myself to have 20/20 vision is unreasonable. It's not going to happen. So, keeping all of these expectations reasonable and keeping them having in mind your limitations is a big part of things. If you don't have that in mind, well, then you're going to fail at things that are beyond your limits. Obviously, we want to challenge ourselves. We want to push ourselves. We want to make ourselves grow. We don't want to be stuck in a comfortability that isn't making us grow, isn't making us change, isn't making us be better. But if you have a physical disability, well, that physical disability is going to, like, for example, make you less likely to be able to do something like, for example, run a marathon. for example. That doesn't necessarily mean that everybody with a disability isn't able to run a marathon. I'm just saying that I'm trying to give an example here. But it's going to make you less likely to be able to run a marathon, for example, or it's going to make you less likely to be able to see at 20/20 vision, because you may not have 20/20 vision, and your vision may not be correctable to 20/20 vision. It would be amazing if my vision could be corrected to 20/20, but as of the last time I talked to an eye doctor about it, that's not possible. My vision is not at a place where it could be corrected that much. And mind you, I don't have like horrible vision. It's not like I can still live my life pretty much normally. I can still do all of those things, but obviously I have my limitations. There are certain things that are going to be harder for me to do. Like for example, driving long distances. I can't do driving long distances without taking more breaks. Like my husband can go the full 5 hours, go on a 5-hour road trip and be driving that long and be fine. I can't. I would not be able to do that. So keeping that in mind is very important. Keeping in mind limitations. Keeping in mind what we can and can't handle is important. You know, we have to be able to tell ourselves, well, I can't accomplish this right now, so that's okay. It's okay that maybe I don't have that ability. And not putting yourself down for it. That's the other part of it, is we don't want to make ourselves feel bad because we have limitations or because we have a disability. Maybe we were born with that disability, and there's not much you can do in that situation. So you have to kind of take things a little bit with a grain of salt, you know, like know yourself, know your limitations, know what you can and can't handle, know what you can and can't do, and accept the fact that you're not going to be able to do everything and that you are going to make mistakes. That's another big thing, is oftentimes we're very, very critical of ourselves for not being able to, for making those mistakes, and we consider ourselves failures because we made those mistakes. Well, a failure is not a definite, is not the defining factor of your abilities. Failure is just another stepping stone. Mistakes are just another stepping stone in success. They're just another stepping stone in learning how to succeed and how to be a better person. So anyway, I'm going to go because my mom should be here soon. She texted me while I was video chatting with you guys while I was making this video. So I'm going to go and let my mom and hang out with my mom and stuff. And I will talk to you guys later tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of a chat with me, in which I shared perspectives a little bit and my thoughts, you know, what I learned in the 30 years I've been alive. So I love you guys. As always, remember, if you're going through it, you will get through it, and remember who you are. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.